Anything can happen.
It's getting a little dark.
Where are you, Mr. Jingles? These are actually my favorite product that I've ever done. I was a little dumb. I think I fixed it. I don't know how I feel about that. Good morning, guys. Welcome to Vlogmas Day 9. I have news. The sun is shining. I was literally complaining about this yesterday because that's what we do as Dutch people. Complain about everything, mostly the weather. And apparently it worked because it's beautiful outside. There's a beautiful blue sky. So we're definitely going to go out on a little hike later on. I want to get a little bit closer to the mill, see if I can get some pretty shots of the mill. Other than that, anything can happen.
Hi. Dat we droog thuiskomen.
Klopt.
It's getting a little dark.
Ik begin een beetje te betwijfelen.
You promised. You said the sun would shine all day.
Yeah, well, I'm not the weather god.
You're not?
No. I know I look thunderous.
You do.
We're back. I am keeping my headband on because it's freezing in here anyway. Welcome to my gigantic mess of a studio. This kind of becomes storage during the winter. In the summer, I spend pretty much every day in here, but in the winter, it just gets too cold. This is an addition to our house and it's barely insulated. There's pretty much nothing. I have turned on all of the heaters. So hopefully we can heat this place up a little bit because I definitely need to do some cleanup because I have a couple of things that I want to get done today in the studio, but I cannot work like this, as you guys know. This needs to be tidied up before my brain will function properly. So I need to clean it up. There are boxes of Christmas decorations that I just put in here because I wanted to get them out of the living room. There's packaging that needs to go to the garage. This is even fall decor. Yeah, let's clean up some things. I just found proof of the existence of mice. Where are you, Mr. Jingles? Oh well. Oh, there was no bag in there. While I'm doing this, I think I could answer some of your questions, maybe. I don't get like a lot of different types of questions so that I could actually make it into a big Q&A video, but I can definitely answer some of your questions while I'm just doing other things. One of the questions that I think I get the most is why it is that my English is pretty good. Most people in the Netherlands are able to speak English very, very well. We actually get English lessons from a very young age. Pretty much as soon as you start school, you get something in English, and it doesn't stop until you leave school when you're all grown up. So in fact, I don't know if that's still the case, but when I went to school, it was mandatory. So you have mandatory classes for Dutch and English, and then you could choose if you wanted to do French or German. But English was mandatory. You didn't really have a choice. I do think my pronunciation might be a little bit better than most people's, and that's just because I really liked learning that. So I paid a lot of attention to the way things are pronounced. I just try to incorporate that as much as I can. I don't really have a good reason for it. I have also worked with a lot of people from the US as well as the UK. So actually when I'm around people from the UK, my accent starts to change. It's very confusing. So I haven't lived in the US, as some of you asked. Actually, the very first time I went to the US was this year, earlier this year when I went to Vegas for a couple of days. So that's not it. It's just, oh, that's the dough timer. Let's check on the dough. That would explain why it's not done. It's too cold in here. Oh, another thing people asked was about my village and my environment here. I live in the northern part of the Netherlands, so it's about, I'd say 40 minutes north of Amsterdam. It's a very, very small town of about 700 people. So pretty much everybody knows everybody here, which is a lot of fun. We have one restaurant that's also kind of the meeting point for everybody. So whenever there is something to celebrate, like Christmas, but also we have a fair every year that is celebrated there. We did an Oktoberfest thing. Whenever something like that is organized, you always see the same kind of people coming there. So it's a very nice town. Everybody is really, really kind here. A while ago, I mentioned how we couldn't really play that game that Fox always wants to play because the floor is too slippery for him. He's like Bambi sliding all over the place. It's very sad. One of you actually suggested putting a rug down there where he actually runs. So I figured I could try that with the one that we have in the kitchen. I just put it down and see if it would slide around, because it slides in the kitchen on the tiles. It doesn't stick there very well. But when I put it down here on the wooden floor, it actually stays in place very well. So this might actually be a solution, maybe one day. Our bread gets its own chair.
Ja.
Foxy met mij mee? Ga je mee? Wat gezellig. Wat gezellig. Okay, the continuing saga of the bread. I don't have high hopes for this one either. This is a whole grain bread, but it just, I can't get it to be elastic the way it should. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I did feed my starters so I can make a sourdough bread again tomorrow or something, because that always works perfectly fine. So we're just gonna go back to that then. Folks has joined me. He's got his little blanket here so he can lie down. There are two things that I want to do. First of all, I got an order for a Christmas ornament, which I believe is the very last one I have of these. There are these little mittens. You can hang them up in your tree. I still have a couple of those. I won't be making these again. So when these are out, they are out. However, I got several emails from people asking me if I would be bringing back the bookmarks, which I think is very, very cool because these are actually my very favorite product that I've ever done. These are wooden bookmarks. It's a set of 4. One has a fox, a deer, an owl, and a hare. I actually made these for the fall collection, but as they are whitish, they could very well go for winter as well. But I didn't make many. I only made 3 or 4 sets. And they didn't sell very well, so I was actually very happy that I only made a couple. But then now that they're out of stock, people keep asking for them. So I am going to make these again because I think they are really cool. However, I made these with my previous laser machine, so I have to figure out how to do it with the new one. I have to like convert the file that I used. I have to do it a little bit differently. So that's what I'll do. I'm going to figure out how to make these again. And then we're gonna make a whole bunch of them just in case. Whatever doesn't sell, I will use myself because I think they are absolutely adorable. I actually have one of them in the book that I am reading because I really like using these. There's been a mouse on here even. I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so we're just having a little test here. Now, previously, as I said, I used my other laser machine to do this, but that could only laser, obviously. So I would laser the wooden pieces and then the color print version as well. And lasering paper, I didn't enjoy it very much because it sometimes catches fire. And also, you have to very meticulously mask it to make sure that you don't get any scorch marks, which still would sometimes happen a little bit. This machine can cut with an actual little blade. So that is so much cleaner, a lot better. So I'm very curious how it's going to go. I do see that my print is a little crooked, so we'll see. We'll see. I think it should be in a different position. I don't think this is gonna work. Why? Why is it not the same size? I'm confused. Test 1 has failed. Okay, that was a silly mistake. This is what the print should look like, but I printed out with a little bit of a border around it that is also printed so that the machine will cut a little bit inside the image so you don't get like a white border around it. And I had printed the wrong version. I printed the one without that border, which is why the sizes didn't match up. I was a little dumb. I think I fixed it. I think this is gonna work. Let's try. Fine point blade, process. See the difference? This one is smaller than that one because this one has a bit of a border around it that will be cut away. This was wrong.
I've never cared much for winter. Ice and snow leaves me totally cold. But something's up each year in December. I love it like a miner loves gold. It's never about the present.
I think that works perfectly. So I need to make sure that everything is aligned properly. Printers are not the most reliable. Sometimes they will print a little crooked. Sometimes the distances aren't exactly the same, where this machine, the laser machine, is very accurate. So I think I only have to do this once. Just make sure that all of the cut lines are properly aligned. And then I could, in theory, I could just do one after another. I can only do one sheet at a time. So that's why I put 5 images on one sheet so that I can at least do 5 at the same time. I need 2 pieces for one bookmark. So I'm gonna have to print and then cut a lot of them. But if the cutting process is gonna go smoothly, that's gonna save me a lot of stress. I remember this was really annoying the last time. So hopefully with this new machine, that will go a little easier. Let's see, start.
My baby's got a thing for Santa. She blushes and she giggles whenever he's near. I grow myself a beard in time for
That is looking good.
I keep it throughout the year. My baby's just crazy about Christmas. Listen to that kitten, the way she
I know, I'm just gonna have to do a whole bunch more.
Yeah, this time of the year, she's crazy about Christmas, and I'm crazy about her.
Oh, hey, handsome. Hey, handsome. So in order to cut the wood pieces for the bookmarks, I need to kind of rearrange things. This mat needs to come out, and then this needs to get back in. A sheet of wood on there.
Crazy this Christmas. She whispers in my ear, hey Santa, come here. Please make my wish come true.
Okay, the lighting is a little weird. We just had dinner, so I can now actually focus on assembling all of the bookmarks. So I've got a whole stack of the wooden pieces, and then I've got all of the prints, obviously. This is going to take me a while, but that's okay. It's very therapeutic work. I would have loved to create new designs for these bookmarks, maybe something for winter or later even for the spring, but that of course takes way more time than I currently have. Maybe one day I will do that though. I would also love to have a set with one bookmark for each season instead of 4 of the same season, so there are more opportunities there. The prints are made on a thick, high-quality paper, and after I have the machine cut everything out, I will glue the prints onto the wood. I make sure that the glue covers all of the edges of the wood so that there are no bits where the paper will come loose or where you might snag your finger behind it. Then I sand all of the edges very carefully, again, to make sure nothing sticks out and to really adhere them to the wood. And then I add a tassel, and voila! These bookmarks are 2 millimeters thick, so they are very sturdy, but not so thick that they are bulky inside your book. It actually works very well, and because they aren't as thin as normal bookmarks, I don't lose them in my bed, where I would sometimes find myself lying on top of it. Don't ask me how that happens. Okay, so I got a whole bunch of them done. I'm going to update them on my website so that they're available again, so you can get them if you're interested. I'm actually very happy that you guys requested this particular product because, as I said, it's my favorite. I really don't mind making them, even though it's a lot of work. I don't really mind, and they are very cute. The owl, by the way, being my absolute favorite. So I very much hope that you enjoyed hanging out with me today again, and I also very much hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bless you.